Hey, we've been apart for so long. I haven't seen any of you in 2.5 minutes. Welcome to the Jim Freeland Show here at the Oracle Broadcast Network. Today's show is kind of impromptu. Starting last night, we began planning this show. I'd like to introduce my friend Kathy. Now, Kathy and I have known each other for a while now. Kathy's I'm going to say she's my friend. And, we had talked about having you on the show. And I remembered that you lived in Connecticut, Kath, but I did not for the life of me remember that you lived or even know or put the two and two together that you lived in Sandy Hook. And now also, Kath, to the best of my knowledge, in the alternative world, you're the first person that lives in the community that's come on the radio. Now, I don't know if anything here is going to be groundbreaking, but there were some things that you told me last night that I had heard nowhere else.
So that's why I wanted to come on just as soon as I could handle it, and give my account only because, we kind of forget things and things fade over time. And of course, other things emerge over time. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to tell what I know.
Okay.
Because
we'll start that in 2 seconds, Kathy. One of the things that I want to say first is that Sandy Hook Fire Department is part of this. They are part of what they call the HSEEP training, which is a part of the Department for Homeland Security. It is they do active shooter drills and training where they bring in.
Yep, I remember that one. They had one, whatever it was, maybe a year and a half or 2 years before.
Oh, they also had another. They have another one scheduled there, and the last day of sign up for the next one that they have scheduled for the Sandy Hook Fire Department was December 13th, and this notice came out on the 14th from FEMA that as I believe October 1st they're supposed to have another one. So I have the feeling, or not October. You had till October 1st to start filling the seats, and then here.
Well, there's a lot of money to be made out there. There's a lot of funding to be had, and there's a lot of. You should see the budgets for the firehouses in this town, the volunteer firehouses. I don't know what's going on there,
money. But yeah, because it's federal
and my money also, my tax dollars also. Yes.
Yeah, and if you don't pay it, in a lot of places, they're starting to act like thugs. They'll come and not put your house out if you didn't pay your fire tax.
I understand that, yeah.
And now we just had this attack here in upstate New York, in Rochester, where two firefighters, one happened to be an off-duty police who was an active volunteer fireman, and two others that were injured. 7 houses burnt to the ground. All right, now. One of the things that I want to talk about, I wanted to mention that there were active shooter drills planned for Sandy Hook. They already had one in Sandy Hook. One of the things that you told me that was within, a very short period of time, Sandy Hook was just literally lousy with black Suburbans. Now, and another thing is that you had your scanner on.
Yeah, if I could just go through it kind of like in a chronological order,
that would be
the easiest for me because. And then if anything specific I can fill in, I'll do that. Is that cool?
Absolutely. There's maybe a couple of questions that I might like to throw your way, but I'm going to let you by and large just go.
Oh, of course.
We've got about 1 hour.
Alrighty. Well, basically, I am maybe 3-4 miles from the school. I live in Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook is a part of Newtown. Newtown is a pretty big land area for a town in Connecticut, which is a very small state. It's about 27,000 people. Sandy Hook, I'm not sure. It's, I don't even know, 3, 4, 5,000. I'm not sure how many people live here. But anyway, I am east. Further east of me is a dam. Nothing comes over that dam. You can't order oil. You never see whatever. So that morning, you hear 4 sirens, you hear 10, you think, oh my gosh, 10 sirens, that's something really big. Then I hear like 30 sirens. So I'm looking out the window, and it's from, Oxford, Seymour, all these towns over the dam that shouldn't even be here, plus Monroe and Shelton and all these So I said, well, I got to put the scanner on, So I'm listening to the scanner, and I honestly can't tell you the exact time that was, but I would guess around 10 o'clock-ish. So as things are unfolding, because we knew it was a shooting, and I'm calling my sister, who lives in Fairfield County too, but not in Newtown, and I'm calling her, and the reporting was so weird, and the reporting from the media, but the scanner was weird because it was like, they'd be saying something like, the building was clear, and then 20 minutes later somebody's like, is the building clear? And there was just like a lot of contradiction and a lot of real subtle, like, there was no energy, it didn't sound like anything was happening. And at one point somebody had shot themselves in the foot. They had taken 3 people to Danbury Hospital. They had put out an APB for a van, a maroon or purple van, with the back window shot out, with 3 men, 2
this
of them. This
is the part I wanted to key in on right here. So at first, the first APPs out there was this. They were looking for a van, back window shot out. We have heard of what I had heard was a car with a window shot out. But to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, I've never, until just now or last night, heard they were looking for a van with 3 men, 2 of them dressed as nuns.
I think it's archived on Radio Reference. You can go to radioreference.com. They have all the scanner feed archived, plus that's where I saw the APP. I have a screenshot of it because my sister and I were laughing. We were actually joking because it sounded like a Cheech and Chong episode or something. And we knew it was a shooting, but it seemed like nothing really happened. Somebody shot themselves in the foot, whatever. And then all of a sudden, there was a local report initially that like 4 or 6 or something, a low number of people were dead. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it says AP confirms 20 dead. That was the first. And then they said 26. And I'm calling, we called each other back and forth at least 10 or 12 times. And both of us were like, that can't be. Like, that's totally fake. It's a lie. Where's, who's injured? 26 dead, no injuries,
Yeah, that was one of the things that seemed real odd. No injuries. Totally. You had your scanner on all day. No injuries. No one was taken there with an injury, just dead. Some of them with 6 shots.
Now there are like the vice principal is the one that was shot in the foot or the leg. She is still in the hospital, supposedly. And there were a couple other people. But I tried all day to get somebody to go down there with me, and they wouldn't. So basically, I ended up going down there by myself, and it was really insane that first day because, there were some really crazy, scary-looking guys in a lot of very dark cars. It was just nuts. So I drove around, and I would stop here or there and try, but they were really screwing you out, and you couldn't even. But it would take you like an hour just to make a little tiny, quarter-mile loop. So I just was trying to, see what was going on. And then the media, they were letting agglomerate at Treadwell Park, which is on Philo Curtis, which is kind of maybe a half mile from the site, maybe a little bit more, but not much. And so, I was hanging there, and I was just, getting the feel. And the whole time, I'm just like, something's wrong with this whole thing, Plus, like, I really have no issue to know anyone, only because I have no children. I'm not involved. I'm pretty much an antisocial sort of person.
Right.
But I don't know any of these people personally, right? So then the list came out, the list of names. And I said, well, I got to see who these people are, So right. We have a little local phone book that is just Newtown. It's published just for Newtown residents. And, almost all those people are in the phone book. Not almost all, but of the families, of the children, the bulk of those people are in there. I'm not even in the phone book, so it's not like everybody needs to be, but a lot of them are in there.
Easy.
And,
so it would have been easy to pick them names out.
Pardon me?
So it would have been easy to pick names out, and phone numbers.
Well, what I'm saying is I had to confirm that this happened on my own level because
right.
I didn't know what was going on. It sounded sloppy. It sounded like a drill. It sounded like And I understand that there's a protocol on the
and there was
the dispatch
this
thing.
was an enhanced security school. You're not just after school, after school begins and they shut the doors. What a person, Adam Lanza, who has no connection with the school, he didn't go there, his mother didn't work there.
Oh, yeah.
Is
Yes,
not
the
going to get in the
reporting was-
door, especially wearing now. That is what leads me to what, because I was thinking, well, that is very odd. Why would they even let this kid in? He supposedly was wearing a mask, and a bulletproof vest. But then I find
black
out that
outfit.
they're originally looking for 3 men, 2 of them dressed as nuns, and then I'm thinking, how do you get into a school?
I don't know how that plays in.
I don't know. To me, it seems odd. And then you never hear about that. I mean, we hear about the guy they found running in the woods in camo, which you even mentioned to me. Where I live, it's not unusual to have guys in camo in the woods behind my school. Right up until the end of hunting season the other day, I hear gunshots in the morning daily.
There's people that they're interviewing. They actually say that. They're like, gunshots aren't unusual around here, because they're not. This is not a... I mean, like all this like gun-free school zone. I mean, every school zone is gun-free. I mean, that's almost a misnomer. If it's a public school, it's a public school.
Yeah.
And they're all like that. It's not like we had any kind of anti-gun policy here as a town at all. I think the people here are opposite that for the most part. But I just think...
Okay, Kath. I have a question for you, because one of the biggest questions I've been getting is where's the video? Where's the video? How come there's no video? And now you heard the oddest broadcast across the scanner.
Yeah. Well, you know what else was really odd on the scanner? There was one part where some guy comes on, and it wasn't a discourse. It was just this guy comes on, and twice he goes, "There are no working cameras at Sandy Hook Elementary School. There are no working cameras at Sandy." And I thought that was kind of weird, It was kind of like quite a statement of fact, for so early. So I don't know. All I want to say is I don't know what the story is. Okay, I don't know what happened per se, or all these weird loose ends, which I've been trying to keep up with. But I do know that there's definitely a lot of dead children. I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to myself by going into I've lived here for almost 20 years, okay? I've gone into I frequent, the bar and the liquor store and the diner and all these little places in town. And I have known people that I've known for a long time, but you don't find out until something like this happens that they say, "Oh, I went to that school as a child," or, "Oh, I went there with, so-and-so's father whose daughter died," or "Show me a picture." People have pictures of their children with these children. 2 of these families live on my road, right on my road, down the road from me, the Wyatts and the Engels, right across the street from each other. I have a friend who's a school teacher who's been in that school. She's sat in that class. She met some of those children. There's way too much proof. Plus, I went to the first funeral, the very first one there was on Monday, for Jack Pinto. He was the sports one. And it was an open casket, and I totally was not ready for that at all. And, there were hundreds and hundreds of people there, and it was the lightest attended funeral because everybody was so traumatized. They haven't really been able to deal, So as the funerals went on, it got to the point where there were just thousands and thousands of people. They'd be having 3 funerals a day. Mostly the children were buried here, like the principal was buried and had her funeral in Woodbury. One of the teachers was in Bethlehem. There's another teacher was in Katona, New York. So some of them are out of town. But for the bulk of it, the children have all been buried here. 8 of them had their funerals at the same place. I've had 8 of the funerals drive by my house without even looking for them. Just there they go, 8. And maybe like the whole Emily Parker thing. I don't know about that. That's really screwy. That is a screwy video. The medical examiner, that guy is a freak of nature. I just
he knew less about
Sammy Malik from the Clinton days, from Waco. I mean, I don't know where they get these people, but it doesn't negate the fact that there are dead children, and I really think that people need to connect just with that part of it, because I think that you can't deny
the satanic ritual.
A restless soul like that, a restless soul, you know? It's like you need to at least connect with that.
Yeah.
We all do.
Well,
you know, and then the rest of it, sure, let's have a debate about whatever. But
I'm in the PSYOP camp. Until I talked to you, I was, I just didn't know. As far as I hadn't seen any pictures. I mean, you look at the press release of the medical examiner, and that guy is just an imbecile. Why the hell did he put him on freaking TV? No, I don't believe that was John Goodman, but I do believe that.
Paul Vance. I have been looking at Paul Vance all my life. Okay, I wish the guy was fake. All right, he's not. I've lived here. I have lived in Fairfield County all my life. I've only lived in Sandy Hook for about 20 years, but I have been I've lived in Danbury, I've lived in Brookfield, I've lived in New Milford. It's, I live here. There's a lot of connections here, and there's going to be a lot of stuff coming to the surface.
Well, this was Broncos OKC, in my opinion.
Yes.
This was Barack Obama's Oklahoma City bombing. He had his approval rating was non-existent, and now it doesn't matter. And you see the same sort of manner. Go ahead.
Yeah, some people were really glad he came here, and a lot of people weren't. I personally thought it was fairly hypocritical to have a man that sends drones out to kill children, eulogizing children. I just thought that was totally hypocritical.
Yeah.
But I stayed away from the event. I just didn't go to that.
Now, the guy in the video, what the heck was his name? The one who...
Robbie Parker.
Robbie Parker. Now, again, people are asking me.
He's in our phone book. I did read.
And you saw the
somewhere
video. It's an odd video. It's an odd...
it's very odd. It's very odd. I don't deny that. I don't have an answer for it, But I can tell you that
real
there's...
person.
Well, no. I can tell you that he's in our phone book, and I can tell you that... I did read somewhere that he worked at Danbury Hospital or something medical in Danbury, and I know a woman who works at Danbury Hospital, and when I saw her, she was like, "Oh God, you live in Sandy Hook," and I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Do you know any of the people?" And she said, "I only ever met Robbie. He's the only one I know," and this was early on, like before the people were saying all this stuff. So I know. Like, I'm not saying that makes it all real. I'm just transferring what I know. That's all.
Right.
But, so I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. The media, I mean, I was, I owned a business here for many years, and anytime I was ever interviewed by the local media, they twisted everything I said and absolutely demonized me. And if you people don't understand that, right? Haha. So I don't know. I really don't know what's up with that. It's very fishy, but I really believe that.
Well, it seems like most of the people
involved,
It seems like most of the people involved, even the kids and the children and the teachers at the school, were acting drill-like.
A lot of it
they were doing things by the book. We know that there have been active shooter drills run at Sandy Hook.
Well, if you read all the accounts of the teachers, it sounded very much to me like it was, like, I'm not sure if it's just the training from drills, so it sounds like a drill, or if, but everything they did, like, they would say, someone would be knocking on the door, and, we would say, "Oh, who is it? Oh, it's the police. Oh, we need identification," and they'd slide a badge under the door, and it's like, baloney, I don't know. That just all sounds very... I don't know. See, I don't know about that stuff, but it sounded, that's why I had so many problems initially, just because of that. Plus, like you were saying, I really think somebody was purposely saying all those things to the media. I don't think the media was making it up per se. I think somebody was, because, you can go on, you can easily find out if she was a teacher at the school or if she wasn't. Because the first few days that was all being reported, you could go down on the very first day. They had a whole contingency of teachers on the corner there with a big sheet that said hug a teacher. And you could go down and talk, and they could have asked them, was this a teacher? I actually was yelling at the media at one point because I was saying the same thing to them. I'm like, where's pictures? Where's, or do you ask questions or do you just keep repeating what you hear? It's like, what kind of job are you doing? And then there were just hundreds and hundreds of these vultures in this town. It got to the point where they were actually removing them by telling them because they wouldn't leave. And then it got to a point where there was about to be beatdowns, and Tuesday they started telling them by Wednesday they were virtually gone, but there was a couple last funerals, so they would kind of be hanging for that. But the obnoxious trucks, all that was gone. The police presence here has been insane, absolutely insane. It's not as bad now, but the first week easily, just between driving, say, from here to the post office in town, which is about as far to school, you would pass 100 police, 100, just in gangs everywhere. They're like blocking off all these little roads and
that's why I happen to believe that it was a drill or it was a psyop. I mean, you look at it. All right, I take seriously the first reports. When they were, because that's when real cops show up and they're looking for a van.
Right,
they're looking for 3 guys. 2 of them are dressed.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll just lay out my theory so people don't think that I'm some kind of government freaking goddamn shill, and my friend is also. All right, here's what I think.
Well, it's like I'm really not into the whole aggressive.
You don't even have a TV.
I don't really care. I don't care what the truth is. I just would like to know it, Yeah. And I think that arriving to conclusions and just stating things without really finding out. I mean, I'm here and I can't find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We still don't. So it's like every JFK. It's like you don't even have a definitive. It's like, how are we going to arrive at these things by?
Yeah, well, I get a kick out of people all over the country that know exactly what happened, and then I happen to know somebody who lives in the town that it happened in that can't find out what happened. But the one thing that you have confirmed for me is, you've confirmed that there were funerals and that you saw open caskets. I mean, okay.
Oh my God, yeah.
For the real conspiracy laced, I suppose that still doesn't prove that children were killed. I imagine there has to be pictures somewhere from the medical examiner, although he didn't seem to know anything about the body.
Well, if there's children that are gone, okay, and you can drive by these people's houses, and because the 2 on my road here, let's say they hired an actor. It's like, what, they've been living there for years, so they put him up for years. They had all their family come in from all over the place. There's been cars there. It's like, because I understand script. I mean, I believe a lot of the news is fake. I believe that a lot of it is scripted and absolute crap. And I think that's what they're using with this is their past shenanigans to make us kind of doubt things that like you can doubt anything. And I'm not saying every single child, but I have for myself easily proven a dozen, if not, and if I don't know how much more, because it's almost morbid, I'm just going to keep listening for what I can hear because people talk. People are competent here. People know their rights here. There's money here and there's a lot of swine here, but there's a lot of people who aren't, like anywhere, okay? And there are competent people, and even if the parents are too forever because this town is traumatized. That's another reason I really want people to try and connect with this thing on a more spiritual level about what's happening here, because this town needs it. There is a trauma here. I don't even know these people, like I said, personally, and I cannot drive into this town without crying. It's overwhelming. There's people in the stores just crying,
Yeah. Because they killed the baby.
They did. So let's just please get over that part, you know?
Well, and you got to remember that feeling you feel of, all right, there could be, and I could not doubt, because, I mean, we know that most of our news is scripted and fake, and most of the story, I mean, and we know of, but my point is don't think that they wouldn't kill 20 kids. I mean, they would.
Yeah, right?
You know what I'm saying? They would kill 20 kids. They would firebomb them and watch them all burn in the street from satellite feeds if they could. I just don't think that. And then get the tragedy really, now
to
me, the victims are real, and it's the players that are in question.
Yes. There's an awful lot of real victims. And, you know, like I said, as I hear things, I'm just gathering as much information and details from people that I have known for a long time who have, you know, I mean, you know, if you know somebody for 20 years or 18 years, and even if you don't have like an intimate relationship, they have, you know, they have ties here. Why would somebody, you know, like one of my friends said that he went to that school as a child with the Ricos girls, dad, Rich. You know, he knows him. It's like they're good friends. But that's not the kind of thing like where's the doubt there? You know what I mean? It's like that's one of many. Plus the other thing that I still have to find out is I went to see, because I have a friend that lives right there. Her son is in first grade, and he goes to that school. And I stopped by their house, and her sister was there, and she was in bed. She couldn't get up to talk to me. I guess she's just thoroughly traumatized. I don't know if her kid was in one of the classes that was half slaughtered or whatever. But, you know, that eventually, I'll talk to her eventually. There's a lot of other people here who I haven't gotten to talk to who, you know, have all sorts of connections and whatever with the town or with, you know, the EMT. So, I mean, there'll be a lot more to come out. And I really just think that, you know, if there's something that needs to be done, I can't imagine people not trying to do it here. You know, because these people, I don't know, these people just, you know, for the most part, you know, they stand up for their rights, and they are educated and have, you know, the money and connections to get things done. So that's why you don't see episodes of Cops here as prototypes dragging young, rich teenagers out of their Fairfield County windows, but you know, you see that in poor areas where they can get away with it, you know? So if there's something to be done, I'm really going to be the first one standing behind somebody to help them find out, you know? But it's, you know, this is there's powerful people everywhere, and hopefully they'll do something here. So
okay.
I don't know what to tell you about that.
Let's just slow down things for a second, Kathy. I want you to be comfortable.
Yeah, sorry.
I want this to be friendly, and I don't want you to be nervous. Let's just talk for a few.
Really, it's challenging. That's all.
Well, all right. So the media's gone, right? For the most part,
yes.
The media, the blood and guts, the if it bleeds, it leads.
They were going to get beat down, so they left. Yeah.
All right. We'll come right back after this break. We'll get into a few more things, and I'll mention my theory, and then we'll go from there. I want to thank you again. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be back right after this, the Jim Freeland Show with the Oracle Broadcast Network.
Yay!
You are listening to the home of Cutting Edge Talk Radio. This is OracleBroadcasting.com.
HempUSA.org has moved and expanded its operations for faster worldwide shipping. Our product line has grown from 5 to nearly 100 items in less than 5 years. Our food is grown naturally, always chemical-free, not found in stores. Great for daily intake and perfect for your emergency storage shelter. Call 908-691-2608 or visit HempUSA.org and see what our powders, seeds, and oil can do for you. HempUSA.org has a revolutionary wonder food for detoxing the body and rebuilding the immune system. Microplant powder can help unclog arteries and soften heart valves while removing heavy metals, virus, fungus, bacteria, and parasites. Plus, it cleans and purifies the blood, lungs, stomach, and colon. Keep your body clean with microplant powder. Visit us at HempUSA.org or call 908-691-2608 today.
The Oracle Broadcasting Radio Network is on a mission to bring you the best in cutting-edge talk radio. Oracle Broadcasting is a true beacon of free speech, uncensored news, and relevant information that depends on the support of listeners just like you. You can help us expand our reach and inform the masses. Promote the network by clicking the Socialize link on the left-hand side of the oraclebroadcasting.com website. Using the simple tools provided, it is easy to spread the word about Oracle Broadcasting on social networking websites, blogs, news feeds, and many other ways with just one click. You can also help by becoming an Oracle Broadcasting member today. For just $5 a month, you get access to the members stream that allows you to listen to all of the great shows from Oracle Broadcasting in 128K stereo CD audio quality. To find out more, go to oraclebroadcasting.com. And thank you for listening to the Oracle Broadcasting Radio Network.
AG is the symbol for silver on the periodic table of elements. And now, silvercoins.ag is the web address for buying silver coins close to melt value. Thanks to and because of you, the Oracle listeners, silvercoins.ag has massively upgraded their website with innovative features so you can get inexpensive silver. Silvercoins.ag now features streaming metal prices and streaming silver coin melt values. Silvercoins.ag now serves online retailers for silver coin bargains every minute of the day and finds great deals based on those silver coin melt values. Plus, Silvercoins.ag has expanded their extensive background history, composition, and data articles on silver coins and genres. So stop the endless web surfing for silver coin deals, because now you can visit and bookmark Silvercoins.ag. For silver coins close to melt, go to silvercoins.ag.
Okay, and here's the deal. Every administration, every president has plan A, plan B, and plan C, for their, you had the 9/11, you had Oklahoma City. Everybody has their, if worse comes to worse, we'll pull this card out. And, listen, and here's my theory, because this is a school with already an enhanced security school, which means I'm going to liken this to my little town. I live in a small town, and our school, you get in, you go in the front door, and you have to buzz. There's a camera there. You have to push a buzzer to get into the office. You can't get into the school. So now, all right, I just have to say that my opinion is this was an operation, that there was a hitman or a hit team, probably a 3-man hit team with 2 shooters and a getaway driver or something like that. And the scenario went, I may sound crazy, and people maybe this will sink me, but hey, how are you going to get in? How is a 20-year-old kid, going to walk into a school just laden with armor and armament and get through the, into the office? The first APPs out there they were looking for 3 men. 2 of them were dressed like nuns. Now, to me, call me crazy, but if you were going to get into a school, That might be the way you would do it. It's a possibility. Anything's possible. Even if which I'm absolutely sure there were. As soon as this happened, the place was probably lousy with 1, actors, 2, secret, freaking Blackwater goons and private mercenaries.
Oh,
along
yeah.
with all kinds
there were some definite goons in this town. Definitely. That first day, there were some scary-looking men driving around this town. Definitely.
And to be sure, you're
definitely.
not at all trying to say.
I just kept thinking black op guys.
Yeah.
Like, these are not defenders of us. These are operations personnel, and that's all I kept thinking. And I also did find, because I saw the footage of them running in the woods and getting that guy, and I also saw the footage of the parent with, and this is before they told everybody the children were dead. That's why because everybody's like, why aren't they, because they were still waiting for word, but they say, there was a guy pulled out of the woods, he's being detained by the police, and the reporter says, was it a grown man? He says, yes, a grown man, and he says, he's sitting right over there in the police car.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
And they don't pan over, or if they did, they certainly cut it out so you don't get to see it. I did find a story, okay, and I haven't seen any confirmation of this since or heard anything since, but on December 14th in the LA Times, there was a story that said Chris Manfredonia was detained by police and handcuffed on the morning that he had a 6-year-old daughter that went to the school, and he had arrived to make gingerbread men with a first-grade class, and arrived during the time that stuff was going down. And so he was, quote, running around the school looking for his daughter, or a way to get in to look for his daughter. And police handcuffed him and detained him. So if that's who it was, I don't know why the parents are saying he's in the back of the car. Why wouldn't they know he was a parent if that was him? So I haven't been able to figure out what is up with that. And then there's also other accounts from children coming out who were saying that there was a man handcuffed. At one point, he was actually in the firehouse, handcuffed, and he was saying to the parents, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. And he was dressed in camouflage pants and a dark jacket. And then there was conflicting stories of, like, some other people, and I don't know if the guy in the firehouse was the guy from the woods, if the guy in the police car is the guy from the woods and or the firehouse. So I'm not sure about that. But this Chris Manfredonia is also in our phone book, and curiously enough, there's another Manfredonia that lives on Yogananda Street, which is the street that the shooter's mother and the shooter allegedly lived on. I mean, I'm sure they do. But I've been able to kind of convince myself that she was real. I still don't know anybody that knows the kid or has any, like they talked to down the hair place. Suppose he got his hair cut there. That place has been there forever. I mean, I know people that are 40 years old that got their hair cut there as a kid. It's like, so I'm not sure about all that, but there is that name, Manfredonia, Manfredonia. So I don't know if I haven't heard him say, been interviewed. Oh yeah, they thought I was, I don't know. So what's up with that? Who knows? And I also want to say that I hung out downtown until I couldn't take it anymore for the first 5 days. I went down there every single day. And I was very lucky to see some things pulling out because the road is closed, basically. So the only things pulling in and out are anything official. So if you are hanging out there, you see everything because there's one way out, that way. So I saw the medical examiner truck that was towing this rather large. This was Saturday when they supposedly removed the bodies of the children.
I still can't get over the guy.
Pardon me?
I still can't get over the fact that he really had no idea of what happened in that school. He couldn't describe any of the bodies. Couldn't describe.
Well,
anything.
I don't know how they were literally pulling them out in this humongous vehicle. And then, 2 hours later, the autopsy, or whatever, a day later, all the autopsies are done. I mean, I don't know. It was just totally bizarre. And I know he's bizarre.
Well, I think they probably just took Adam Lanza, put one in his head, and tossed him in there with the rest of the bodies.
Yeah, I mean, that's plausible. It's plausible. I really don't know if he was. I don't know about any of that.
Well, you look at the car that he supposedly drove in there is connected to a guy who's doing life in prison for making automatic weapons for militia groups, and I mean, the whole thing just stinks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, at first they said it was his mother's car, and his mother's well-to-do, but she's got this crappy little black car. You know what? Yeah, that was. I didn't get that either.
Just her alimony payments alone were $250,000 a year.
Right. Exactly. And what was I going to say? It just left my head. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Never mind.
And to be fair, Kathy, I mean, neither one of us is saying. I mean, I think people are getting the wrong idea. I brought you on because you're a person who lives in the community, and you don't work for DHS, you don't work for FEMA, you're not some Blackwater goon. I
don't trust any of those people. I'm punk rock.
You're my friend. I've camped and shared medicine with you.
I am so glad that the only reason I'm calling in is because I know you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to much of anybody because, I just don't need the aggravation. I don't need to be, I have no stake in this except for just trying to tell the little that I know.
Well, what I don't get is the people who think that, there was no dead body. I mean, why would they fake
I understand why. I totally understand.
I just don't get, though,
I
buy everything else
for the first day.
They would kill little kids. You see them drop white on neighborhoods.
It's the liability factor too. Think of the liability of not actually killing anyone, so they don't sue you. It's a clean way to do it. It's fake. It's like killing Osama and not really doing it, or not really flying planes into a building, and not it's like it's much more controlled. You just blow it up in the way you want to. So I can very well see why, especially if you can get some videos out there that confuse the situation so much. I can totally see why people think that, and that's the only reason I just wanted to clarify what I do know to be true.
Right.
There's a lot I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Nobody else from Sandy Hook's come on any of these alternative radio networks. So you guys take it for what it is and be respectful. This is a person who lives in the community and who has been traumatized. Now, the school probably most certainly was running a drill. I mean, you had mentioned that they were, that the children would be locked in the classrooms, and when someone knocked on the door, they'd say, "Who is it? It's the police. Please slide your ID," just as though they were all running through a drill.
Well, they probably did that like every 3 months, though. It's like I think it was a way of life in that school. So that's why I don't know if it's just reaction to the situation due to good training.
I think it was a 3 minute. To me, my opinion. All right, and I think there was a hit team. I think they went and killed them children. I think there was 2 men dressed in nuns. They killed everybody in the office, then went in, murdered some children. They didn't hardly wing or wound anyone. They murdered everybody, dropped Lance's body in there amongst the rubble, and that was who they were looking for.
I don't know if everybody heard the story because I don't think
and
it's
he'll be like
fully
John Doe number 2. They'll say no, it never happened. No, that APP was false. It will be as though it never happened. But in my opinion, that is.
Well, this is another story.
I have another friend before we go any further, Kathy, that actually called crisisactors.org. Now people are going to say, "Oh, well, they're So you're only going to believe if what I say I read off of your own desk in front of you. So take this for what it's worth. I have a friend who called crisis actors and told them, "Hey, listen, man, I want to hire your actors. I want to hire the ones that just did Sandy Hook because they look like they were, well versed and well trained." And Vision Box says those were not our actors. Now, of course, they would make, I guess. I mean, you'll say, well, of course they said that, but if they really were their actors, I mean, I don't know, man. I think it went down like I said.
Well, there's a story.
It's an enhanced school. They weren't going to let Adam Lanza in that office.
There was a story that was rumored, and it was confirmed in the newspaper a few days ago, and it hasn't really been reported since. But there was a girl, the class that was totally slaughtered, the 15 children in the one class, there was a girl who survived that. She was very smart, and she played dead. She was covered in her classmates' blood. She waited till everything was quiet enough that she got up and she walked out on her own. And when she found her mom, she just basically said, I'm okay, but all my friends are dead. And she wasn't shot. She was not shot at all. So that little girl survived. That was in the Danbury News Times. You can find it from, I think it was 4 days ago. And there was also the other class where the Soto, the Victoria Soto's class, where some of the children were killed. The only reason that some escaped is because the door was open. They were able to run out. They weren't locked in a room. I don't get the safety plan of locking unarmed people in a room.
Yeah.
But, and if you look at that principal, if you look at her face and look at her, she's competent. You can tell that woman was intelligent and she was competent. If she was the first one killed. If she was armed, she would have taken care of it, or at least died trying, if it was a little more overpowering than an autistic child, So I don't know. But she should have been in charge of that.
I'm almost positive that there were probably actors. This could have been planned. Look, they planned 9/11 for years before they pulled it out, and
yeah, if it takes 3 years to introduce Red Mountain Dew, it's going to take a lot longer to bring down those buildings or
they probably
plan something like this. And then I've seen the Batman movie thing with the Sandy Hook. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah,
it's that's them laughing at us. That's what it is.
Yeah, and you can't have a satanic ritual without victims. It would be. Yeah. It wouldn't be the right energy. There would be nothing to feed off. See, people think that everything, I happen to believe that we do live in a world of satanic, Luciferian, baby raping, child molesting filth. Other people don't.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I do. And I do believe that there is no energy to feed off of if the victims are pretend. Now, do I believe that they would plan this for years, put people in key places, have drills, so that this could go off, do it right during hunting season? Did this kid know it was hunting season and he could fire off a bunch of shots near the school and nobody would think twice about it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a kid who was supposedly autistic. Everything else was a lie. The teacher saying his mother worked there was a lie. The car was his mother. That was a lie. Everything about it was a lie.
Yeah, he killed his girlfriend was missing. He killed his father initially. He was his brother. He had his brother's ID. He didn't have his brother's ID. The whole thing really reeks of somebody planting those things.
Would one of these rich, ungodly, rich, satanic, filthy mongrels sacrifice their own autistic, imperfect child? Freaking yes. That's the part of the LIBOR that may be real for me, is that maybe Adam Lanza's father did know. And he is, he's filthy rich. I mean, in an amicable divorce, he gives his wife $250,000 a year. So his ends are meeting. Would he, his imperfect child, who wasn't perfect to the world, to the eyes, of Satan or what have you? Yeah, they would sacrifice their own child. They would,
you'll get a shiny new ring and a new degree.
The whole thing with with the double tap, like where the firefighters here in upstate New York. This is people were waiting for this false flag. That was it. The next thing they're waiting. Is there going to be this big event where the next day it's all out military, martial law? No, they'll use this, and then slowly over the course of another few months, it'll just be that way. Look at your schools already. They're like little military compounds.
Yeah.
It's even worse now. Your children, you'll have even less right to your own children now. Your own community. You got a school in your community. You're going to have to succumb. If you live within 3 blocks of a school, you're going to have random home searches. I mean, people think that's crazy. I'm a lunatic. Those are the things I'm looking for. People like you and I who are on the radio right now, they've already said, if you're spreading malicious lies, we're coming after you.
I've heard that. I mean, they threatened us right here locally through the news, telling us that.
Yeah. And I'm on board with almost all the little theories out there. I am definitely not on board with this as a kid, who committed this heinous crime on his own. I fully believe that he was probably just tossed in there. If he would, he probably wasn't even alive when he got to the scene. Probably drug his body
Well,
in.
I'll tell you the truth. It was the first week of this was so incredibly traumatic that I kind of I took the holiday here I kind of went on a little bender, and
Vibe.
I saw some friends who were 9/11 responders, and they were really helpful, just kind of putting into perspective, how certain people have to deal with the aftermath of those who would use us as pawns and chess pieces, and just told me their story, and it really helped. And I connected with a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time, and it was very helpful. And so I just think that now that everybody's buried and that part is over, because people are trying to have discussions about different
and it's like
guns.
global
I
warming.
couldn't discuss that, but now it's time for that. Now it's time to figure out what's going on, and that's why I'm waiting for the second wave of stuff
to
here.
be sure, the way they're treating it is the consensus. The consensus is we told you what happened, and that is the truth. That's the consensus. It's what they do with everything. They're not gonna. The investigation is already over. From now on, all investigations into this are just going to be little. They're going to look into the psychology of this poor kid. Now they're going to be scanning social media for the telltale signs so they can stop the next freaking shooter before he happens.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I'm very lucky because I canceled my cable. I have no television. I canceled my cable in '98. I don't have broadcast TV. I don't tweet and twat. I'm not on the face thing. I don't do any of that. No, I'm appalled by that sort of disconnect from reality and virtual. I don't know. To me, it's very vacuous, and you can do anything online that you wouldn't do in person. You can say anything about somebody online and say all sorts of stuff, but stand in front of me and say it. I'm going to write to you a letter. I'm going to go to your house and talk to you in person. That's what I do. I don't want the TV's version of anything. I want to figure out for myself what's going on. That's why I drove to Pennsylvania and I met you guys in the woods, and that's why I drove out to Michigan. Because I need to find out what's going on my own level. I don't want somebody else's version of it. I'll listen to your version and I'll make my own decisions, but I'm going to make my own decisions in the long run. And, let's be responsible for our actions and what we say and what we contribute, because on many levels, this country needs to be healed, and not just from this. On many things, we're all so arrogant, and it's time to just step back and stop that, and just try and reconnect and find out what's important. They took down all the Christmas lights in this town, and I thought that was great. I didn't have to be assaulted by the arrogance of all these Christmas lights while Iraq burns, and that's the other thing I said to the media. I said, we've killed 1 million Iraqi children, and this is what an Iraqi child lives with every day, or a child in Palestine. The only thing I can compare this to is Palestine.
I wanted people that started assaulting me with how I should feel about these children in Connecticut and say, look, I do, but I feel that way about all the children. I want you to remember that what you're feeling right now is what the people in the communities in Pakistan and Iraq and Yemen and Afghanistan are feeling, in Syria and Libya and Egypt.
Every day,
When they're real children, those are real bodies. You can't imagine.
Yeah, and we're doing it. So, that's what we should be talking about. That's the conversation we should be having, is like, what are we doing? Are we personally responsible for creating, disease and distrust and hatred, or are we trying to bring people together and have meaningful discourses? I've had some of the best conversations of my life with people that were totally antithesis to what I believe in, but they can express where they're coming from. And I'm willing to learn about anybody's story, but it has to be done with a modicum of love, otherwise, why bother? What's the point?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was I don't know, man. I just, Kathy, you're the only person I know so far from, I'm sure some of the big boys will find somebody from out there to come on their show eventually, but, it's only been a week.
Well,
and,
I wouldn't trust Phalix or any of them. I wouldn't trust any of them. I only, because I'm cautious. I am very suspicious of everything and everyone, and but I truly liked you and Kurt. I thought you guys were awesome people.
And Lady P.
know what's going on. You totally get it. And, your motivations are sincere, no matter what path you're on, we're all trying to get to the same place.
Indeed.
So.
Yeah, I'm really, I'm actually pretty flattered that you'd come on the show. And even if we didn't.
No, I thank you because I needed to say some of these things just to kind of, for my own therapy, at this point. But also because I think it's important that people know at least what is true, the little bits that are true, and the rest of it, hopefully we'll find. And yes, Gene Rosin is in the phone book. He lives on Riverside Road. I've seen that clip. I'm wondering if my friend's child might have been in that group of children that ended up at his house. I don't know that yet. I will find out.
And that's the same guy that's the pet sitter, right?
I don't know if I thought he used to be a psychologist or something. I don't know.
All right, maybe I'm thinking of another one.
I don't know. The guy that had the 6 children at the end of his driveway.
Right.
He was feeding his cats, so I don't know if that is where that comes in. He's in the phone book. I'm not going to give out these people's phone numbers or anything. People can find these things themselves. You can look. You can look up all this stuff yourself. You can go to my local paper, the Newtown Bee. You can go to the Danbury News Times, newstimes.com, newtownbee.com, BEE, and you can look up. These children were baptized in this town and born here, and they have histories. You can come to our little town hall and look up anything you want. It's not that hard to find these things out. So people who keep saying, this doesn't exist. Well, what have you done to prove that? What's the proof? Have you, it's like, let's search the Social Security Death Index.
Kathy.
In whatever it takes, I don't know how long it takes to.
I want to thank you, and I'd like to invite you to come on again, and then maybe we'll take a couple of calls next time. Thank you, Kathy, for coming on the show.
Thanks for giving me the time, seriously.
Absolutely. I'd like to have you on again. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the Jim Freeland Show. More great programming here at the Oracle Broadcast Network.
Rising food prices, extreme weather, political and economic uncertainty. The one lesson learned by those who lived through Hurricane Katrina: if you're counting on your government to show up and take care of you in the event of a major disaster, you just might have to wait a long, long time. Will your family be ready in the event of an unexpected disaster or disruption? The best step towards preparedness is a quality storable food supply from Dry Harvest Foods. Dry Harvest offers healthy, high-quality storable food that you can depend on. Our food packages contain real meat, real butter, real cheese, with none of those cheap ingredients like soy protein substitutes. Dry Harvest has the highest calorie count per dollar in the industry, so you can feel confident and ready in these uncertain times. Some people worry, others prepare. Call Dry Harvest Foods at 406-587-4181 or visit callnow.org. That's Dry Harvest Foods, 406-587-4181, and visit callnow.org.
Feeling like there are too many pressures and demands on you? Losing sleep worrying about tests and schoolwork? Eating on the run because your schedule is just too busy? You may be under too much stress, and it may be affecting your mind. Get your mental edge back with Nootropic Mind Power from mindregard.com. Nootropic Mind Power is not a drug, but a natural supplement. Its 12 powerful ingredients are natural and non-GMO, plus it's gluten-free, wheat-free, and formulated by Americans for Americans by an NSF-certified laboratory. Nootropic Mind Power is available at mindregard.com, spelled MINDREGARD.com, and comes with a 100% money-back guarantee. Free your mind with Nootropic Mind Power cognitive supplement from mindregard.com. Mindregard. Clearly see tomorrow and yesterday. Today.
There is one place